What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. The Ducati's on the lift. We're gonna get started on this build series here. First off, by taking off all the stock fairings, basically stripping this bike down to give us access to the spark plugs. We're gonna get the stock filter switched out to a sprint filter. We've got an exhaust coming. We've got some new fairings coming. I've got a bunch of parts already lined up on the table. As you guys seen in the last video, we've got some carbon fiber brake lines. We've got carbon fiber clutch lines from Friend Tubo. And like I said, the list goes on and on for this build series. So stay tuned. I'm gonna set the camera up so we can get going on dismantling this bike. I'll try to keep you guys in tune to what I'm doing as I'm doing it, but for the most part, it's not so much a tutorial, but I'll try to walk you guys through as I dismantle piece by piece. So what I come across, you guys will see just the same, but for the most part, I don't have a shop manual for this bike. So if there's anyone out there that has a shop manual or knows how to get one, drop a comment down below. Want to get my hands on one. From what I understand, they're digital copies, and I found one on eBay, but I'm a little skeptical about buying something for that price. It was a few $100s, and not for sure, certain that it's going to work for me. So long story short, yeah, if you guys have a way of getting a hold of a manual, let me know. Other than that, like I said, hold tight. I'm gonna get the camera set up and bring you guys along this dismantling process. All right, guys, so starting with the fairings, you're gonna need a 4mm and a 3mm. So I've got these set up. Let's have at it. So I'm gonna work my way from the top down, starting with the tank shield here, and then, like I said, working my way down. So these, I believe, are the 4. Oh, these are the 3. So let me get the 3. I'll try to keep this as smooth as possible, but I got you guys on a kind of like a chest cam. So if it gets a little jerky, I apologize for the footage. Okay, looks like we got a little plastic guard on the back side of these screws here. So we'll make sure we don't lose those. So the back side of this tank shield here, it's got some Velcro on it. What I'll do is I'll pull these screws all the way out, but make sure these plastics don't fall off. That one, when I yank this up off the Velcro or the hook and loop, these don't go flying anywhere. With my luck, they will. All right. So we've got tabs. Yeah, Velcro's back here, so we'll pry up. I've got some, let's see if we can use some nice plastic tools. There we go. That should lift that up. And what do we got here? Prying. I think we just got some tabs. Yeah, they're just some rubber grommets. It's a little extra force needed to pop up. All right, so one down, a lot to go. So I'm gonna put these over here. and drop these back in. That way we don't lose anything. But you see what I'm talking about? We got the little plastic little guards here behind the head so we don't mar up the finish, I assume. And it helps create a seal as well. And let's see, so this is a little rubber grommet. You'll see on the back side there's little tabs that drop into there. Just kind of, it's my first time pulling this bike apart, so inspecting things as we go as well. So I've got a new ignition guard in carbon fiber, as you guys saw, so we'll pull this off as well. Looks like it's trapped behind some of this plastic fairing, so I'll start my way down. We'll pull this plastic off, this inside piece, and then continue as we go. So that also looks like a 3. I'll keep this in my pocket. Can I get in here? Yep, so it's a 3. Back this guy out. I'll have to go back through this footage and check on how this is looking for you guys. I don't want it to be shaky, so I apologize if it is. It's got a lot of play. I'm taking out these 2 screws right here, and from what I understand, when this piece comes out, there's a certain motion that you need to do to pull this without snapping tabs off. So these 2 screws, same size, we'll keep those, put those aside. So this piece here pulls out, and you see there's a tab here. It's kind of a slide lock tab. So this whole plastic piece needs a push forward and then kind of rotate upwards. You do not want to snap these tabs. That's what the love of money does. Okay. On something. If you see what I'm talking about, we've got the tabs here, tabs here. I'll give you a better look once it comes out, if I can get it out. Hold tight. All right, guys, so I got this out. I need to drop the bike down so I can rotate the handlebars to give me clearance to actually pull it out. But before I get back on the chest cam, let me show you my setup here. Yeah, I'm not a fancy YouTuber yet with the fancy gadgets. So this little contraption here my wife bought as a gag gift one year, and I find myself using this thing quite a bit. So it hooks around my neck. I lock the phone inside there, and it gives me my chest cam. So yeah, here we go. So I'm gonna get you guys set back in there. I'm gonna drop the bike down, rotate these handlebars. I'll pull out this side, rotate the other side, and get the other plastic out. So here we go. All right, guys, I had to get my little stubby ratchet. If you can focus, there it goes. So there's 2 screws back in here.
That's what the love of money does.
All right, so there's a lower screw down at the seam where these 2 fairings meet. So let me get that backed out. There we go. So yeah, I was wondering why I could not pull this fairing off, because this inner fairing was moving with this outer fairing, and it didn't seem like there would be a screw that I couldn't access, which there is, but it's because there's 2 different fairings. So you got to remove that outer fairing to access this inner fairing, and then there's that screw there. Looks like another 3mm, and it is. If I grab a 3mm wrench. All right, so I'll back this out and get you guys hooked back up. This is the 2018 model. No plastic washer there. So this screw, and if you can see here, that's that other screw I was talking about, which I set down here, and I'll thread that back in. That is a plastic washer screw. Right, and then as you can see, this guy here tucks underneath, and on the back side, here's my camera, there, mates up just like so. Okay, all right, so give you guys a little walk around as we strip this bike down. Look at that coolant level. I would say on the empty side, not even low. At least the reserve there. I'll check the radiator. Like I said, guys, this is why I go through my bikes when I buy them. All right, so coming down to the underside, we've got 1 screw there, and you're not gonna be able to see, or you might be able to see, we got 4 screws, 1 there, 2, 3, 4, take my word for it. I'll get those pulled out, and then I'll get you guys back set up. All right, chest cam back on. Let's see, what are we missing? What are we missing? We've got that screw out. No screws there. Oh yeah, we got some screws back in here, so let's get those out. And I think what I did last time. Raise this up and off. Okay, so same thing here, guys. This screw needs to come out first to get us access. It's a 3mm. There we go. Okay, that's out. There's my 3. Put that there. So this should be loose and out.
That's what the love of money does.
Okay. So once again, there's that dowel. You've got to slide up to pop that out. We've got hook and loop back here. There's actually a third one here, which came off. So I'll get these glued back on. That's not gonna stay, so what I'll do is I'll hook that back on here to keep things together. You got 3 tabs. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And then up front, this is that interlocking one that links under the nose into here. All right, so I'll set this fairing down and we'll get this inner fairing pulled off right now. All right, so we got all that off, set the fairing down. Now I've got this inner screw for this inner fairing. Disconnect this. This one has a plastic washer. This also has a back dowel pin right here. So we gotta force this down out of the dowel. Okay. And what do we got up front? Feels like a screw. No. Nothing. Oh, interesting. So we got a zip tie holding the clutch cable. Okay, let me get my snips and we'll snip that off. Alright, if I can hold this steady, get in there. Alright, zip tie loose. So there's a zip tie. So I'll make sure when we install those carbon fiber ones, I run that same setup to hold that in place. There's the dowel. So this guy here is on this lower side. Got this lower dowel, so this got to come down. And then there's I guess a horizontal one there. So it's got to pull back out of that. So back and down. That frees this guy up. All right, so I'm gonna drop this guy back in there. I want to keep all these screws in their proper place. All right, so looking good so far. We've got a few more things to go. We've got this front headpiece, the lower front fender. I'm pulling everything off, guys. this rear tail goes off. I'm even gonna pull the tank off. I'm stripping this bike down, so all this is coming. Yeah, the rear looks like chain guard slash tire hugger, and yeah, this tail piece comes off. I'll pull off this headlight assembly next. Actually, maybe I'll pull off the front fender next. I'll go easy first, and then I'll work my way up to the more time-consuming. And then from there, I think I'm gonna start pulling off the other plastic parts and exposing like the radiator. I've got the Evotech radiator guards on that I'll pull off. I'll pull off the outer shrouds, really open up and expose the radiator. I'll do my inspections on that. I'll go through and really just kind of look at everything, but I'm going to do a deep clean and detail this bike out before I start putting anything back together. So that'll be its own separate video. I'll pull the bike outside to get all that, you know, taken care of. But for the most part, this bike is getting stripped down, like I said.
That's what the love of money does.
Upper portion is loose. It feels tight down here. I don't know if these are holding just a windscreen or if they're actually a part of securing this. Let me look inside, see what we've got. All right, after a quick search, there's a screw inside here, 4mm. I backed that out, and that loosened that up. And assuming there's one on this side, and yes there is. Can you see it right in there? So let's see. Okay, I'm gonna leave those screws where they're at and pull this out. Okay, looks like that screw fell out and we're detached, guys. Look at that. Good deal. All right, so let me set this down without scratching. Okay, so where are we at so far? There goes that nylon washer for the blinkers. And this guy fell out, which I had actually tucked in. As you can see, I was putting these screws back in. 1, 2, 1, and this one fell out. 2.
That's what the love of money does.
So those are the ones that I was missing, that I could not locate, thinking that I had to take out these 2 screws. Which I was right, I didn't think that was part of holding it down. That was just for the windshield. So these 2 screws I still left inside. So I got this pulled out. There's the front dowel. That's got to be pulled outwards. So don't start yanking on it unless you've pulled this out towards you and then pull it up. All right, so I got those little nylon washers tucked back in place. This bolt goes to the front nose, and I'm gonna screw that back in to keep that together. All right, so now I've got every screw that I've pulled off this bike screwed back into its home for the most part. And like I said, I'm gonna pull off this front fender. All right, that was fun. So there's a, looks like your speed sensor cable that runs along inside this little track here. And then this is that little clamp mechanism that holds your brake lines in place. So this, let me set you down without scratching you. This clamp mechanism is what I was trying to describe. So that goes like that. Like that. And then this little guy clamps down and locks those cables in place. So 10 millimeter, I had to get the wrench out to get into there. Socket wouldn't fit on there. All right, so now we're just about there, guys, at least for the night. So we've got the fairings pulled off. Let's see how she's looking. What do we got left? We got some little plastic shrouds around the radiator. Debating on pulling this front headlight assembly off, pulling the tank off. I'm pulling the back tail off. Like I said, the fender, and that exhaust is coming off, so we might get that going too. So stay tuned. But my phone battery's dying. I'm recording all these videos on my phone, so looks like I'm gonna have to call it a night, guys. I'm at 5%. All right, guys, so I put the phone on the charger, got a little bit more juice, and in the meantime, I was working on this tailpiece. So got the tailpiece pulled off. Actually, it was a lot easier than I thought it would be. We had 2 screws, actually 4 screws altogether, 2 on this side, 2 on this side. You take those screws out, the back tailpiece slides off. The light assembly is actually only held by 1 screw, so you got to remove your little, I guess, backrest. Take that off, exposes a Phillips screw here. You disconnect your wire harness, take that screw out, and then the back tail light slides off. You have 2 locating dowels. You have one on this side, one on that side, and this whole assembly just slides off. Actually, I was pretty impressed how easy that was to come off. Once I took that piece off, that was pretty much it for the tailpiece. Down here, I removed the NRC tail tidy assembly. So I took that off and I tucked the wires back inside. And like I said, I like to put all the nuts and screws and bolts back in its location. That way when I go to fit everything back on, everything's where it should be. So as you guys look around, I've got all the fairings, all the parts that I've taken off the bike, kind of displayed across the garage here.
That's what the love of
I'll set up a nice little workshop tomorrow. I'll lay out some blankets, get these fairings spread out, and I'll start working on this tank. So this tank is going to come off next, and this looks like it's relatively easy to take off. So how it looks like, you remove this bracket, you take these two bolts off. You got one here, probably one on the other side, and maybe some hoses to take off. Looks like a grounding wire there, and that tank should come right off. So that'll put us in a good position to get some access to these spark plugs and whatnot. And then, like I said, I'm gonna do a deep clean on this bike. So I'm tired, you guys. I'm calling it a night. Hope you liked the video. Stay tuned for the next one. Like I said, I'm going to take off this tank on the next one, so stay tuned.